I never believed in soul swaps or cosmic justice until the night my world shattered, literally. One moment, I was Gianna Reyes, the loyal wife scrubbing blood from the marble kitchen floor after my husband's accident. And the next, I was blinking awake in the body of Elena Vasquez, my best friend, her lifeless form now pulsing with my fury in a hospital bed that smelled of antiseptic lies. The doctors called it a miracle. I called it my ticket to hell, because the man who'd framed me for murder, the one who'd stolen everything, was about to learn what vengeance feels like when it's wearing your lover's skin. That first breath in Elena's lungs was like drowning in silk, smooth, suffocating, wrong. Her body was younger, tighter, the kind of curves that turned heads in the boardrooms where my husband, Victor Hale, reigned like a god in tailored Armani. Victor, with his Wall Street wolf smile and eyes like polished obsidian, had built an empire on tech startups that promised to revolutionize finance, but really just funneled billions into offshore accounts. I'd been his anchor, the Latina firecracker from the South Side who clawed her way through community college to become his CFO, signing off on deals that kept the lights on in our Gold Coast penthouse. But loyalty? That was a joke. Elena, my ride or die since we were kids trading secrets under the L train tracks, had been fucking him for years. And when their little side hustle, cooking the books on a crypto scam, started unraveling, they pinned it all on me. The accident. Victor's Mercedes slamming into Elena's Prius on Lakeshore Drive. Except it wasn't an accident. He'd rigged the brakes, meant for me, but Elena borrowed my car that night. Irony, or fate handing me a loaded gun. I flexed Elena's fingers, nails manicured in that deep crimson she loved, and felt the rage coil like a spring in her chest. The hospital room buzzed with monitors, a nurse fluttering in like a moth to a flame. "Ms. Vasquez? You're awake." We thought. Well, miracle doesn't cover it. Her voice was syrupy Midwestern, the kind that made you forget Chicago's underbelly. I croaked out Elena's laugh, light and lilting, while my mind screamed Gianna's curses. "What happened?" I asked, playing the damsel, even as I plotted the noose. She rattled off the story. High-speed crash, coma for 3 weeks, organ failure averted by some divine fluke. 3 weeks. Victor had buried me in that time, literally. My body, pulped in the wreck, was interred in Graceland Cemetery under a headstone that read, "Beloved wife and mother-to-be." Mother-to-be? The lie stung deeper than the betrayal. We'd been trying for a kid, IVF bills stacking like cordwood, but Victor had whispered doubts, said my heritage might complicate things. Bullshit. Now I knew why. He'd knocked up Elena instead. Discharge papers signed with Elena's looping script. I stepped into the December chill of Chicago's loop, wind whipping off the lake like God's own slap. Uber to Elena's Lincoln Park brownstone, because Victor had frozen my accounts, labeled me the embezzler who'd snapped under pressure. The doorman nodded, used to her comings and goings, and I slipped inside, the space a shrine to their affair. Framed photos of Victor and Elena at Napa wine tastings, my wedding band tucked in a drawer like yesterday's trash. I rifled through her closet, pulling on a black sheath dress that hugged like a second skin, Louboutins that clicked with purpose. Mirror check. Elena's almond eyes stared back, full lips parted in a smile that wasn't hers. Mine. I was the ghost in the machine now, and Victor? He was about to haunt me no more. First move, reconnaissance. Victor's office at Hale Ventures towered over the magnificent mile, glass walls screaming transparency while hiding the rot inside. I badged in as Elena, his consultant, the perfect cover, and rode the elevator to the 52nd floor, heart hammering like a bass drop at an underground rave. His assistant, a mousy kid named Tyler with a man bun and trust fund vibes, waved me through. "Mr. Hale's in a meeting, but he'll be thrilled you're back. The whole team's been wrecked." Wrecked? Yeah, right. Victor emerged from the conference room, Armani crisp as a fresh bill, his salt and pepper hair slicked just so. He froze when he saw me, then melted into that predatory grin. "Elena, Dios mío, you're a vision." He pulled me into a hug that lingered too long, his cologne, sandalwood and sin, flooding my senses. I let him, nails digging into his back just enough to draw a wince he mistook for passion. We ended up in his office, door locked, blinds drawn against the city sprawl. "I've missed you," he murmured, hands roaming Elena's body like it was his birthright. I played along, whispering Elena's pet names, Me Ray, my king, while cataloging every tell. The way his left eye twitched when he lied. The scar on his knuckle from a bar fight in college I'd bailed him out of. He poured scotch, neat, and spilled it all without knowing. The scam? A Ponzi scheme disguised as NFT drops, sucking in celebs and soccer moms alike. My confession? Forged emails, timestamps doctored by a hacker buddy in Belarus. And the crash? A necessary risk, he said, tracing my jaw. You were getting too close, Gianna. Had to make it look like you cracked. I nodded, feigning tears, while inside, Gianna's ghost sharpened the blade. He didn't know the swap. How could he? The doctors hadn't either. Elena's chart read traumatic brain injury, not soul hijack. Whatever voodoo or glitch in the matrix had swapped us in that collision, it was my ace. That night, in Elena's bed that still smelled of his aftershave, I plotted. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon through the snow-slick streets of this city that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. Step 1. Thaw the assets. Elena's portfolio was flush. Commissions from Victor's deals, stashed in a Cayman account I'd access with her biometrics. I wired funds to a burner LLC, Reyes Redemption, anonymous as a shadow. Step 2. Allies. I texted Marcus, my old parole officer turned PI, from Elena's phone. Need dirt on VH Deep. Marcus, a grizzled black vet with a soft spot for South Side girls like me, didn't ask questions. By dawn, dossiers flooded my inbox. Victor's offshore slush funds, mistresses in 3 states, and a sealed juvie record for assault on a foster kid. His foster kid. Me. I'd blocked that memory, the night he threw me against a wall at 16, but now it roared back, fuel for the fire. Weeks blurred into a tense tango. By day, I was Elena the Enchantress, charming investors at rooftop galas, lacing Victor's drinks with just enough GHB to loosen his tongue without suspicion, blaming it on stress. He confessed more. The miscarriage Elena suffered last year? Not a loss, but an abortion he forced, calling it bad timing. Controversial? Hell, it was a gut punch, the kind that makes you question if redemption's even possible. I leaked snippets to the Sun-Times anonymously, watchdogs sniffing at Hale Ventures' heels. By night, I was Gianna the Ghost, hacking Victor's calendar with Elena's credentials, planting digital breadcrumbs that led regulators straight to his door. The tension built like a storm front off Lake Michigan. SEC whispers, boardroom whispers, Victor's paranoia spiking. He started sleeping at the office, eyes bloodshot, accusing Elena of distancing. I gaslit him masterfully. You're imagining things, baby. The crash changed me. Lies within lies, a house of cards teetering. But betrayal's a two-way street, and secrets fester. One rainy Tuesday, Marcus called, Gianna, or whoever you are now. This rabbit hole's deeper than we thought. We met in a dive bar off Division, the kind with peeling vinyl booths and jukebox blues. Over greasy fries, he slid a USB drive across the table. Victor's not the architect. Remember that vacation you funded last summer? The one to Cabo where your folks said the whole family went? My blood iced. I'd scraped together $20K from bonuses for Mom and Pop's anniversary trip, only for them to ghost me with excuses. Marcus hit play on a grainy video. My parents, Victor, and Elena, toasting on a yacht, laughing as they divvied up wire transfers from my accounts. Gianna's the patsy, Mom slurred, her South Side accent thick with gin. Always has been. The twist hit like a freight train. They'd been in on it from the jump. Pop, the ex-cop turned security consultant, had fed Victor insider tips on my blind spots. Mom, the enabler, had forged my signature on dummy docs. Deep betrayal? This was a family grave I'd dug myself. Rage morphed to something darker, more American Gothic, the prodigal daughter scorned by her own blood. I confronted them in their Oak Park bungalow, Elena's face a mask of sisterly concern. Gianna's death. It's killing me. I lied, voice cracking just right. Mom hugged me, whispering apologies that reeked of rehearsed guilt, while Pop avoided my eyes, fiddling with his service revolver on the mantel. Victor had bought their silence with a cut of the scam, enough for that vacation and a new roof. I left with a promise to help, but planted bugs in their vents, every whisper now mine. The power shift thrilled and terrified. Was I becoming the monster, wiretapping my own kin? Controversial decisions loomed, the kind that blur vigilante and villain. As winter gripped Chicago in iron fists, the climax brewed. Hale Ventures teetered, stock plummeting like a drunk off a barstool. Victor called an emergency board meeting, Elena, invited, as the neutral advisor. I arrived in a power suit, hair swept into a chignon that screamed boardroom boss babe, and watched him unravel. Slides projected embezzlement trails leading straight to his desk, courtesy of my midnight forgeries. "This is sabotage," he bellowed, veins bulging like rivers on a map. I stood, voice steady as Elena's yoga breath. "Victor, the numbers don't lie. We've all seen the audits." Gasps rippled. Tyler the assistant paled, fingers flying over his phone. In the chaos, I slipped a USB into the projector. Irrefutable proof. Audio of Victor confessing the crash, the affair, the frame job. Played at full volume. His voice echoed. Gianna had to go. She was the weak link. The room erupted. Suits dialing lawyers, whispers of psychopath slinging like snowballs. Victor lunged for me, hands around Elena's throat, eyes wild. "You bitch, what have you done?" Security dragged him off, but not before he spat the truth. "It was you, Elena. You pushed for this." "Me? Pushed?" The board froze, and in that suspended heartbeat, I saw the fracture lines. As cops cuffed him, Victor laughed, manic and broken. "You think you're her? Gianna's dead, Elena. Soul and all." The words hung, controversial as a loaded gun in church. Had I overplayed? The press swarmed outside, cameras flashing like paparazzi lightning, headlines brewing. Tech mogul's meltdown, affair and arson? But revenge's high is fleeting, a sugar rush before the crash. Holed up in Elena's brownstone, champagne flute in hand, I toasted my victory. Victor in lockup, parents exposed via leaked tapes. Mom's gin-soaked confessions splashed across TMZ, Pop's pension yanked. The scam unraveled, billions clawed back, victims vindicated. Yet as dawn bled orange over the skyline, doubt crept in. A final email from Marcus. Check the black box data from the crash. Heart pounding, I pulled it up. NTSB prelims, buried under red tape. The brakes? Tampered, yes. But the call Elena took that night, the one swerving her into my car? It was me. 3 weeks prior, I'd confronted her about the affair, voicemail screaming accusations. "You're dead to me," I'd hurled, not knowing Victor listened, not knowing he'd accelerate the end. The crime I'd borne? My own rage ignited it. Twist, the truth reversed. I wasn't the innocent, I was the spark. Did I confess? Hell no. In Elena's skin, I walked away, new identity, new city, maybe Seattle's fog to match my fractured soul. Victor rots in Supermax, parents disgraced in a nursing home shuffle. Happy ending? Or by tragic karma? You tell me, reader. In America, where dreams die screaming, vengeance is just another mask. And mine fits like a glove. The flight to Seattle was a blur of recycled air and regret. Elena's Louis Vuitton carry-on stuffed with cash-stuffed envelopes and a one-way ticket to reinvention. I chose the Emerald City for its perpetual drizzle, a veil for tears I hadn't shed yet, and the tech scene ride for a ghost like me to haunt. First class, courtesy of Elena's Amex Black, and I nursed a gin and tonic, staring at the Rockies below like they held answers. They didn't. The black box replayed in my mind on loop. My voice, shrill and Southside raw. "You stole my life, Elena. I'll make you pay." Victor, ever the opportunist, turned my threat into motive, tampering brakes to protect his empire. I'd borne the fall, but damn if I hadn't lit the fuse. Controversial? Try complicity in your own undoing. The kind of truth that keeps therapists in business and pastors preaching fire. Touchdown at Seattle-Tacoma, and I Ubered to a Belltown loft, furnished, anonymous, views of Puget Sound that mocked my isolation. "Call me Lena Voss," I told the leasing agent, a hipster with sleeve tats and kombucha breath. Elena's passport scanned clean, my new LLC already seeding a consultancy, Voss Ventures, specializing in ethical audits for crypto firms. Irony, the universe's favorite punchline. By week 2, I had clients, startups hungry for legitimacy, blind to the wolf in sheath dresses. Days blurred into boardroom battles, nights into bourbon-soaked what-ifs. Was Victor right? Was I Elena all along, puppeteering Gianna's fury? Dreams bled into nightmares, Elena's face dissolving into mine, Victor's laugh echoing like thunder over the lake. But loose ends snag like cheap stockings. A ping on my burner, Mom. Gianna, if that's you. We need to talk. Pop's sick. Sick. After the leaks, their world imploded. Foreclosure on the bungalow, Mom's bridge club ghosting her. Pop's COPD flaring from stress. Guilt gnawed. A controversial beast. Forgive the betrayers who birthed you, or let them rot. I booked a red-eye to O'Hare, landing in sub-zero winds that clawed like old ghosts. The bungalow sagged under fresh snow, Christmas lights half-strung like broken promises. Mom answered the door, frielier than I remembered, her once vibrant curls now a gray halo. Elena? What? I slipped inside, Elena's smile a shield. It's me, Ma. Sort of. Her eyes widened, then crumpled. Overweak tea in the kitchen, the same formica table where she'd taught me to roll tamales, she spilled. Victor. He came to us years ago. Said you were unstable, borrowing from the company. We believed him. The vacation? It was hush money. We were scared. Scared. The word ignited something primal. Pop wheezed from the recliner, oxygen mask fogging his regrets. Mija, we thought we were protecting you. From him. From yourself. Lies layered like lasagna, but beneath? A kernel of truth. I'd always been the firecracker, raging against their assimilation dreams. Be more American, Gianna, less mouth. Victor preyed on that, painting me as the loose cannon. I stayed 2 days, nursing Pop through fevers, debating mercy. Controversial decision. Wire them $50K anonymously, enough for meds and a fresh start, but no more. Blood's thicker than water, but thinner than vengeance. As I boarded the flight back, Mom's hug lingered, whispering, come home. Be you. But who was that? Gianna the victim, or Elena the avenger? Seattle welcomed me with open arms and closed fists. Voss Ventures boomed. Ironic audits exposing frauds I'd studied under Victor's tutelage. I dated a barista named Jax, all flannel and folk tunes, his touch tentative on Elena's skin. You're intense, he said one night, post-coital in my loft, rain pattering like applause. Intense. Understatement. Sex was a minefield, bodies clashing, souls misaligned. I faked Elena's moans, but Gianna's heart raced with distrust. Trust? A relic. Jax sensed it, pulled away gently. You're hiding, Lena. Hiding. Yeah. From the FBI tip line, I'd anonymously fed Victor's Belarusian hacker's IP, watching the news titan from afar. News alerts pinged. Hail Empire collapses. International probe. Victor's face, gaunt in mugshots, haunted my feed. Power's a drug, withdrawal's hell. Then the shadows lengthened. A tale on my morning runs along the waterfront, subtle, but Southside instincts die hard. I doubled back into a coffee shop, Elena's heels clicking like warning shots, and clocked him. Mid-40s, buzz cut, cheap suit screaming fed. Victor's doing? Or Elena's past biting back? Paranoia spiked. I ditched the loft for a Capitol Hill walk-up, cash only. Marcus texted, Chicago PD sniffing. Your miracle recovery raised flags. DNA mismatch on Elena's chart. Mismatch. The swap's glitch, unraveling. Tension coiled tighter than a spring in a .38. I needed leverage, something to bury the hounds. Digging into Elena's emails, pre-crash, unearthed the gem, fertility clinic records. She'd frozen eggs, not just aborted Victor's kid, but shopped donors, including my profile, swiped from our shared gym app. Gianna's traits, resilient, fiery. Perfect match. The betrayal deepened. She wasn't just stealing my man. She wanted my legacy, a designer baby in my image. Rage reignited, dark and delicious. I flew to Boston, Clinic's HQ, posing as a grieving sister, Elena's charm disarming the receptionist. Closure, I murmured, eyes misty. They handed over files, redacted but damning. Elena's notes. Used Gianna's sample for viability. Viable. As if I were livestock. Back in Seattle, I leaked it to a true crime podcaster, Tech Tycoon's Twisted Legacy. Episodes dropped, viral in hours. Did Elena Vasquez clone her rival? Controversy exploded, forums ablaze. Ethically bankrupt, trending. Victor, from his cell, sued for defamation, claiming slander against the dead. Dead. Me. The irony twisted like a knife in the gut. But the real storm brewed internal. Jax confronted me one drizzly eve, coffee cups steaming on my stoop. Saw the podcast. Lena, Elena, whoever, this is fucked. His eyes, sea green and steady, pinned me. I confessed fragments. The swap. the revenge, the family fracture. He listened, no judgment, just that barista calm. Sounds like you're punishing yourself most. Truth bomb. Controversial? Admitting you're your own worst enemy. We parted with a kiss that tasted like goodbye, him to his gigs, me to the abyss. Spring thawed Seattle's bones, but mine stayed iced. Voss Ventures hit 6 figures, clients praising my intuitive edge. Intuitive. Gianna's street smarts in Elena's polish. Yet isolation gnawed. Holidays alone. Scrolling Insta feeds of Victor's ex-board members yachting in Miami, free while he rotted. A care package arrived. Mom's tamales, handwritten note. Forgive us. We love you whichever you are. Tears came then, hot and unbidden, soaking Elena's silk blouse. Forgiveness? A luxury for the unbroken. The feds closed in subtly, emails from HR at a fake firm, probing my resume gaps. I countered with decoys. Offshore shells rerouting queries to dead ends. Marcus warned, they're building a case on identity fraud. Your swap's a miracle? To them, it's a con. Con. The word echoed Victor's laughs. I needed the endgame. Flying to Rayford, Florida, Victor's Supermax. I pulled strings via a crooked lawyer Elena once consulted. Visiting hours, plexiglass between us, his face a roadmap of ruin. Hollow cheeks, eyes like pits. Gianna, he rasped, no question. Knew it was you. That fire. Unmistakable. We talked, or monologued. Me railing the betrayal, the frame, the family sellout. Him smirking, you think you're clean? That voicemail. Your jealousy started this. Tit for tat, accusations flying like spit. Then the plea. Help me appeal. We're tied, you and me. Tied. In blood, lies, maybe love's corpse. Controversial decision. Slip him a SIM card with burner access, feeding evidence to his lawyers, doctored, of course, tightening the noose. As guards dragged him away, his laugh chilled. You'll join me soon. Souls don't swap clean. Back in Seattle, summer sun mocking my gloom, the twist deepened. A clinic callback, Elena's eggs? Viable. They'd gone to auction post-death, bought by a surrogate in Portland. A baby, mine, Elena's, Victor's echo, due in months. The ultimate reversal, vengeance birthing legacy. Do I claim it? Abort the echo? Debate raged in my skull, dark and tense as a midnight drive through bad neighborhoods. Autumn leaves turned Seattle into a postcard from hell, vibrant decay mirroring my unraveling. The Suggets file burned a hole in my laptop. 28, yoga instructor, almond eyes like Elena's, carrying what? A Frankenstein heir, stitched from betrayal's threads. I drove to Portland, rain-slick eye, 5 blurring taillights into accusations. Her name, Riley Tate, living in a Pearl District condo that screamed trust fund boho. Knocking with Elena's manicured fist, I played the aunt. Family emergency. Elena's will. Complications. Riley, belly swelling under a flowy maxi, invited me in. Herb tea steaming, ultrasound pics pinned to the fridge like trophies. We talked for hours, her hand on the bump, sharing kicks like secrets. She wanted this so bad, Riley said of Elena, voice soft Portland earnest. A fighter's spirit. Fighter. Gianna's ghost nodded inside. But as she dozed, I rifled drawers, letters from Victor, pre-prison, promising our family. Our. The egg wasn't just Elena's. Victor's sperm, sourced illicitly, a backup plan if the abortion soured. Controversy peaked. Designer baby from a dead affair, funded by fraud. I snapped pics, emailed Marcus. Bury this. Protect her. Him. You sure? This kid's a bomb. Bomb. Yeah. But in America's underbelly, where kids pay for parents' sins, mercy felt like the ultimate fuck you to Victor. Back north, the feds escalated. A subpoena for Elena's medicals, flagged by the DNA glitch. I lawyered up, Voss Funds hiring a shark from Silicon Valley. Kendra Voss. No relation, all teeth. We'll spin it as experimental therapy. She purred over Zoom, her Bay Area drawl like oiled silk. Trauma-induced dissociation. Not fraud, frontier psych. Plausible deniability, American as apple pie and cover-ups. But tension ratcheted. Tails on my runs now too. Whispers and coffee lines. Jax texted out of the blue. Heard your big news. Stay safe. Safe. A joke. I met him at his dive bar gig. Folk strums underscoring our awkward reunion. Post set. In his van smelling of patchouli and regret. We tangled. Bodies familiar, souls adrift. This swap, he murmured, tracing Elena's spine. It's you, not her. You. Singular. For the first time, hope flickered, controversial as loving through the lie. Family pulled harder. Mom called weakly, voice cracking over Pop's decline. He's asking for Gianna. The real one. Real. As if Elena's shell invalidated me. I flew back, Thanksgiving looming like a noose. The bungalow festooned half-heartedly, turkey thawing in the sink. Pop, skeletal in his armchair, gripped my hand. Elena's, but his eyes saw through. Mija. Forgive. The word hung, heavy as hospital jello. I nodded, throat tight, and we feasted on memories. Southside block parties, my first quinceañera dress sewn by Mom's trembling hands. Betrayal fractured us, but blood mended slow. We were weak, Pop wheezed. Victor. He promised security. After your brother. Brother. The secret I'd buried. Tommy, OD'd at 19, Victor's stress from early scams pushing him under. They blamed me then. You distracted him with your ambitions. Layers peeled, revealing the rot started long before. Post-holiday, Chicago's grit clung like tar. I visited Victor again, plexiglass smudged with desperation. The kid, I said, no preamble. His eyes lit, feral. Mine. I nodded, watching hunger bloom. Claim it. Appeal on paternal rights. Bait. He bid, dictating affidavits that damned him further, admitting the tampering, the eggs, the empire's lies. Kendra filed them accidentally, leaks priming the pump. Media frenzy, CNN panels debating posthumous parenthood, ethical nightmare. Controversy raged, ethicists clucking, Twitter ablaze with soul swap scandal. Victor's lawyers bailed, Supermax solitary his new throne. Seattle winter hit like a depression, gray skies pressing lungs flat. Riley emailed. Thanks for the fund. Naming her Aria, Elena's middle name. Aria. Song in the storm. I wired more, anonymous guardian angel, but ghosts whispered. Claim her? Expose? The decision loomed, tense as a jury deliberation. Jack stuck around. Our thing casual but constant. Hikes in the Olympics, his guitar serenading Elena's curves while Gianna's heart thawed. You're building something, he said one night, fire crackling in my walk-up. Not just revenge. Building. From ashes? Maybe. Then the hammer dropped. FBI raid at dawn. Boots thundering upstairs, Elena's door splintering. Federal agents. Hands up. Cuffed in silk pajamas, I played dumb. What's this about? Lead agent. A stone-faced Latino with my mother's eyes. Red charges. Identity theft. Wire fraud. Conspiracy. Victor's SIM? Traced. The leaks? Fingerprints. In holding, Kendra swooped. We fight. Dissociation defense. Psych eval pending. Psych eval. The swap probed like a cavity. Shrinks circling. Multiple personality? Or folie à deux with the deceased? Deceased. Me. The irony twisted darker. Bail set at 2 mil. Jax posted it. His life savings, eyes fierce. Not losing you. Courtroom circus ensued. Prosecutors painting Elena as the mastermind. Me as the imposter. Mom testified, voice quavering. That's my daughter. Gianna. Always was. Pop. Via video from hospice. We support. Victor's deposition streamed live. She's a monster. Stole my life, my body, my kid. Reversal mid-trial. The surrogate's DNA test, rushed by the court, revealed Aria's markers. Elena's egg, but sperm? Not Victor's. Mine. From that gym profile, Elena's twisted harvest. Jury gasped. Judge banged gavel. Controversy detonated. Cloned vengeance. Whose baby is it? The revelation cracked me open. Elena hadn't just stolen. She'd replicated. A biological middle finger to my barren womb. IVF failures. Sabotaged by her. Swapping my meds with placebos. Deep secret. I wasn't infertile. I was undermined. Rage surged, but tempered by Aria's ultrasound. Tiny fists waving defiance. As deliberations dragged, Pop passed. Quiet. In sleep. Mom's hand in his. Funeral via Zoom. Her eulogy a gut punch. He loved fierce. Forgave harder. Forgiveness. The word echoed in my cell-like hotel room. Jax's arms my only anchor. Whatever the verdict, he whispered, we start fresh. Fresh. Possible. Verdict day dawned crisp, Seattle sun mocking the storm inside. Courthouse packed. Paparazzi frenzy, True crime junkies live tweeting, ethicists op-heading in real time. I sat in Kendra's tailored armor, Elena's hair pinned like a crown of thorns, Jax's hand a lifeline under the table. Jury filed in, faces unreadable as poker pros. Forewoman, a no-nonsense engineer type, cleared her throat. On count of identity fraud. Not guilty. Dissociative episode, corroborated by experts. Gasps rippled, prosecutors scowled. Conspiracy, not guilty. Insufficient evidence of intent. Victor's ghost howled from Florida feeds. But on wire fraud, guilty. Sentence, 18 months probation, restitution. Probation, a slap, but freedom's whisper. Outside, chaos. Mike's thrusting, questions barraging. Gianna, do you deny the swap? What about the child? I faced them, Elena's poise masking Gianna's grit. I'm me. That's the truth. No more. Jax whisked me to a safe house in the Cascades. Cabin rental, Pines whispering absolution. There, over crackling fires, we planned. Adopt Arya, raise her as ours. Jax's folk tunes her lullabies. Controversial? A stolen egg spawn, lauded as miracle mom in tabloids. But in quiet moments, doubt lingered. Was this redemption or recursion? Mom relocated west, crashing our cabin Christmas. Tamales steaming, stories flowing like candy. We're Reyes's, she said, toasting Arya's bottle. Broken but whole. Whole. The words settled, uneasy truce with the past. Victor? Life without parole, his appeals crushed under the baby's bombshell. Paternity fraud his final nail. Last letter from him. You win. But souls echo. Echo. Yeah. In Arya's coups, Elena's laugh lines on my face, Gianna's fire in her eyes. Spring bloomed. Voss Ventures rebranded. Reyes Resilience. Auditing ethics with hard-won wisdom. Jax proposed on a ferry ride. Rings simple silver, Puget Sound glittering ascent. Wedding small. Mom, Marcus, Riley as auntie. Vows exchanged under evergreens. Through swaps and shadows, I choose you. Arya gurgled approval, tiny fist in mine. But endings? Debatable. Late nights, Arya asleep, I scroll Victor's old videos, his empire's TED Talks, charisma crackling. Was he monster or mirror? My rage birthed this piece, but at what cost? Family fractured, identities fluid, a child conceived in deceit. Happy. In America's grind, where second chances cost blood, it's as close as it gets. Or by tragic farce, puppets dancing on fate's strings. You decide, reader. Me? I'll raise a glass to the swapped, the scarred, the survivors. In the city of rain, we bloom anyway. Twists echo, last psych eval note, buried in files. Patient exhibits integrated persona, Gianna-Elena hybrid. No disorder, evolution. Evolution. Not curse, but catalyst. Vengeance closed the circle, birthing something fiercer. The end. Or just the hook.